Nobody's going to come up to you and say, golly gee, you're doing such a great job today, Sherrie. I just want to give you more money. They're not going to do that. That's not how the world works in any profession, right?
Yeah.
You have to prove your worth. Raises happen on merit, bonuses, and all those kind of things. In order for that to happen, you have to help protect the bottom line. We got to have money to spend money. You got to. This is a business. There's other things that you can impact money coming into the practice. Are you cleaning your autoclave frequently? Are you taking care of those things? Are you doing a foil test in your ultrasonic to make sure that it's working efficiently? So all of those things can save money to the practice. The money saved could go back into something else. We need more money. We need to do things that get more money in our office, because the bottom line is I can't get a raise, I can't get a bonus if we don't have that money coming in.
Sherrie Busby's dropping a lot of truth today, guys. I hate to tell you.
You know, I've always had just one goal for Dental Assistant Nation, and that was to reach as many dental assistants around the world as I possibly could. So thank you for being a part of the community, and I want to make sure that you have hit the subscribe button so that you can not only help us spread the message and we can grow our reach, but also to make sure that you are getting the latest episodes delivered right to you the moment that we drop them. We are all about dental assistant education and empowerment here at Dental Assistant Nation, and we want to make sure that we are reaching as many dental assistants as possible. So thank you in advance, not only for being a part of this community, but for helping us spread the word.
Hey everybody, it is Kevin Henry, the founder of Dental Assistant Nation, and so glad you've joined us for another episode of this podcast. I am super excited about today's podcast because not only are we going to talk about a hot topic right now, but we're going to let you in on a little secret about something that you need to be a part of in February. And I'm going to do that by welcoming in my dear friend and a great thought leader out there whenever it comes to dental assistants, and that is Sherrie Busby. Hey, my friend, how are you?
I'm fabulous today. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on, a return guest, shall I say. Yes, absolutely. And Sherrie and I are going to be part of what's going to be a fantastic day at 2026 Chicago Midwinter. So if you're coming to the Midwinter meeting on Saturday, there's an all-day assisting track. I'm lucky enough to kick it off where we're going to talk about the demons of dental assisting. And then Sherrie's going to finish it off, which is going to be awesome. I love that we're bookends on this. And let's talk a little bit about what you're going to talk about at Chicago, which I think is a very hot topic right now for every dental assistant as we start getting toward the end of the year and looking ahead to 2026.
It is actually. And so my topic is basically supplies management. And that is rolled into what can a dental assistant to do in their day-to-day workflow to affect the bottom line of the office, right? So what can they do? And it all runs down to we need more money. We need to do things that get more money in our office because it's there's the bottom line is I can't get a raise, I can't get a bonus if we don't have that money coming in. So I think that this topic will be very helpful. And you're right. I'm so excited that you're going to be there all day. We're all going to be there all day to answer questions and interact with each other. So it should be a very fun, engaging day. 5 speakers. Like, holy cow, this is one ticket at Chicago Midwinter and you get 5 different speakers and topics through the day. That never happens, right?
No.
That never happens.
It's going to be awesome. And I love you and I talked a little bit before we got on the recording the podcast. And some of the ways that you were telling me that dental assistants can help save the practice money, which may ultimately go back into the bottom line, which may ultimately impact them and their salary.
Mhm.
I love some of the tips that you had. And I'm just going to throw it out to you because one of the things that you were telling me about, and I'll be honest, I didn't even think about was the equipment maintenance side of things.
I'm telling you, it's one of those things that your equipment can make or break your day. Bottom line, your autoclave goes down, you are dead in the water. The hand pieces start breaking, your suction goes down. All of those things impact not only your patient care, but the bottom line of your office. Because now you've got to call a repair guy to come over and find out why the suction's clogged, right? So by empowering people, if you will, to understand the value of maintenance for their equipment is huge. It's huge. And, like, we have one of the most controversial things right now is dental unit water lines, right? Everybody in the whole world, industry-wide, we're talking about dental unit water lines. And it's funny because I write an article for a magazine called Infection Control Today,
Huh?
and my piece is called The Clean Bite. I just love that title. It's so much fun. Anyway, last month, they did a piece on water in nursing homes and how that the Legionnaires is like in nursing homes and things like that. And I thought, wow, the rest of the world is noticing that dental unit water lines are important, right? So this is not a thing about that, but that is one of those maintenance things that we can impact for the office because that is patient satisfaction. That is patient comfort. And there's nothing worse than the patient say, "Ooh, your water tastes nasty." You know what I mean? Like the whole thing. But equipment overall, like, are you cleaning your autoclave frequently? Are you taking care of those things? Are you doing a foil test in your ultrasonic to make sure that it's working efficiently? So all of those things can save money to the practice. The money saved could go back into something else. Maybe you need new equipment. Maybe you want to, I don't know, maybe your office wants to take a trip together. Who knows? You want to go skiing in the Colorado. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, but right? Come on to Colorado. But maybe all of those things can impact the office. And the dental assistants are the ones who normally take care of the equipment, right?
Absolutely. And I know there are some new dental assistants who are listening to this and they're like, I got to be honest. I'm asking on Facebook what to do. I'm trying to ask my friends what to do.
Don't ask
Right.
on Facebook, babies.
That's the thing that scares me the most is whenever I see that and I'm like, "Oh, no, no." Yeah, so what do assistants need to do to make sure that they are actually doing this properly to make sure that the equipment stays up to where it should be?
Well, let me tell you, the very best thing you can do is pull out your phone or your computer and do a Google search for the instructions for use from the manufacturer.
The IFUs,
The
oh,
IFU, baby, that is where it's at. Those IFUs, and it's so funny because in my supplies piece, I'm talking about, restocking. Like, when the stuff comes in, like, people open the boxes and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited that these trays are here. I need them, so I'm gonna rip open the box and put the trays away and everything." But one of the things that happen is the manufacturers will send that IFU in the box, and then
yeah.
people don't realize that that piece of paper or that little 1.2 font thing that's inside of the composite box is important, so they just throw them away, and then you don't even know how to use the product. You don't know the proper usage for how to care for the equipment or even those IFUs. I also teach a class on composites about how just an everyday composite filling can cause sensitivity to the patient, and you know why? Because we're not following the instructions for use for the etch and the bond and the composite themselves. And all of those things combined can cause this sensitivity, right? So following those IFUs, and if you can't find them, reach out to me. I'm the best Google searcher on the entire
Oh,
planet.
there you go.
I am, but all you have to do literally is just Google search the name of your equipment, like whatever your autoclave name is, whatever that brand and the model number, and it will find it for you. It will find it for you, and then make a binder, put them all together so everybody can find them.
And I love that because so often it's like whenever I take a trip and we're kind of numb to how you got to fasten your seat belt, as you're getting ready to take off and all this stuff. But the IFUs are so important and so often overlooked in the
Yeah.
practice. It's mind-boggling to me,
It is
honestly.
mind-boggling. This is so funny, and it's not for the newer cure lights, but the older cure lights that had the amber wand on them, the directional thing, right now I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, I learned through the IFU that that thing is autoclavable. I'm like, "Who knew? You could pop that puppy out and stick it in the autoclave." I had no idea until I read the IFU, you know what I mean? So there's information like that, but knowing those things and doing it correctly will really, really help your equipment and then save money. Another thing that the IFU will tell you is for your autoclaves, most of the time you have to just you have to do a pressure release valve because that pressure release valve that's down inside, even though you're using distilled water, it still gets water deposits around it, right? And so it clogs it up and that can cause your autoclave to fail. Simply because you're not doing this test for this maintenance on the pressure release valve. So those kind of things will really help the bottom line of the practice, right? The bottom line.
And that's the key, and that's what we're talking about today is how
Mhm.
dental assistants really impact the bottom line of the practice. Because I'm gonna tell you, I speak at Seattle study clubs, and I do all these things with dentists, and I always hear, there's no way for me to track how my assistant impacts the bottom line." And so I'm so glad we're talking about this today because I'm gonna tell you, it's a topic that a lot of times people don't they try to get in their practice software and they look for, a line like the dentist may have or a hygienist may have, but these are important things that we're talking about today.
They are important things, and there's so much more. Like, heaven, I hope we have a lot of time for this podcast today
We
because
do, we're talking, let's go.
there's other things that you can impact money coming into the practice. Do you know one of the main reasons that insurance does not pay for services? It's not
Tell me.
because it's not a covered service, it's because it lacks documentation. So our business team members, God bless their little hearts, they don't know teeth. They
Right.
don't. Some of them know teeth numbers and stuff like that, but if you don't have your X-ray numbered, they don't know which one to pull out to send to that claim. They have no
True.
idea. So a dental assistant's responsibility and a hygienist's responsibility too, let's not get away from that, is our job is to make sure our X-rays are numbered. I mean, that's just a simple thing. Number your X-rays. When you use your intraoral camera and you take a photograph of, you go around, take 32 pictures, once again, that's 32 pictures. They don't know which one to attach to send to the insurance claim. They have no idea. You have to number your photos, right? You have to number those photos. You have to do things like this. The other thing that can impact the bottom line for collections, because collections is what we run on. That's how we operate our business. That's how we order our supplies is through our collections is to get the age and the reason that something needs to be replaced. As an example, let's say that your patient comes in and they've got a crown that's got recurrent decay around the distal margin. I need to make note of that. I need to make note of that in our practice management software. And I'm telling you, people don't use it. Their software can do so many things that we don't even do, right? We
Oh,
don't
right.
use.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. I know that Dana can tell us this. There's so many things within Dentrix, which is the one I know the best that people do not use the software. So if you want to take while you're talking to the patient, because we're having these conversations, when'd you have that crown done? Oh, I think I had it done back in 1927. I don't know. So you would put this crown is 110 years old. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then the reason or what's wrong with the crown, which is really the diagnosis, we miss that, right? So the diagnosis would be distal decay around the margin. And once you put that in, so that goes on your procedure code notes, and then that little message, that description follows that procedure code all the way through, and then the insurance companies will bring it back and pay it. So those are things that affect the bottom line. They affect collections in your practice because if our money's not coming in, we ain't getting paid more. We're not getting bonuses. We're not buying supplies. It's just a whole circle of life, if you will, right?
And I love we're talking about this because you know what I'm hearing is that it takes a little bit of extra effort to make sure documentation's
It
correct.
does.
Make sure that you're actually treating the autoclave the way that it should. But yet these are things that pay off in the end if you'll do that little bit of work ahead of time.
They do, and your key here is little bit of work, little bit. Now, I know for a fact that cleaning the autoclave is not a little bit of work, that's a lot of bit of work, right? So, actually cleaning the autoclave takes a long time, but if you don't do that and you don't get the buildup from inside the chamber, then it doesn't heat properly, it doesn't build up enough steam, all this kind of things, and then it doesn't work anymore. So now I'm paying the service people to come in, and not only are we paying out, we're not bringing any money in because we had to cancel our patients,
Bingo. Love
right?
that.
So it's
Yeah,
all about the
absolutely.
things. Dental assistants, we are so powerful, if you will. Like we got it going on, man. And I'm telling you, I have never met a dental assistant who wasn't passionate about what they do. They are so passionate. And you will get some that are like getting close to burnout, right? So you will get that. And that is a real thing. I'm not going to lie. But for the most of us working and doing our thing day in and day out, we are there being some of the lowest paid employees in the practice. And we give it 157% every single day. We're not there to buy a big mansion. No, we're there to take care of our patients. And we take it personally. I take it personally, even now, and I don't even work chairside anymore, you know what I mean? I take it personally to care for that patient.
I cannot wait to be a part of the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention in 2026. We're going to be talking about the real state of dental assisting in 2026 in Denver on January 22nd and January 23rd. So I want you to be a part of this because dental assistants, we're going to bring you together in the Mile High City at the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention, and we're going to be talking about the things that are going well in the profession as well as the things that we can improve. It's going to be a great time of learning. I want to see you at the Rocky Mountain Dental Convention in Denver, January 22nd and January 23rd for real talk about the state of dental assisting in 2026. Join me and let's be real with each other.
I love to hear dental assistants say that, and it's one of the things that I'm so drawn to this side of the industry because of the heart of gold that there
Mhm.
is. But like you said, there's also the reality of the salary. There's also the reality of the respect. There's a
It
lot of
is.
other things in the practice, and sometimes I just wanna emphasize what you said a minute ago. It's incumbent upon the dental assistant almost to watch out for himself or herself and do
Absolutely.
you can to impact that bottom line and then remind people of that as well. I think that's an important thing too.
You know, this is funny. I'm gonna tattle on myself for a second. Last year, when we were in Chicago, I am the current president of the Illinois Dental Assistants Association, okay? And one of the things that gives us an ear to the Illinois Dental Association. So they invite us to go in. And we're in this meeting, and there's all these, high-powered doctors are in this meeting and everything, right? So we're in this meeting, and one of the doctors made the comment to where my dental assistant is not a producer.
I've heard that.
Man,
I know.
I'm telling you, my dander, like, the hair in the back of my neck stood up like this. I'm like, I was so embarrassed that I did this, but it just went all over me. I'm like, "Excuse me, what do you mean I'm not a producer? I
Good.
just added 3 crowns, an implant, and a full denture to your day, and you're telling me I'm not a producer? Just because that code doesn't go under my name? Baby, I am producing crazy amounts of stuff for you."
And I thank you. First of all, thank you for saying that, and dental assistants hear that
Hear that,
because
baby.
I know there are states, Washington, Minnesota, there's a lot of states out there where dental assistants do so much more than other states. My old home state of Oklahoma is one of them, absolutely. But I will tell you, being able to show the production and being able, as you just said, to know the value that you're bringing, dental assistants have to do that every day to fight
We
back
do.
against what you just heard.
We do. And this is kind of funny too. The rest of that story is I went to a reception and this dentist was in their reception. And I went up to her and I said, "I'm so sorry that I got so passionate about this." And she says, "You know what? I'm glad you did because you're right. I do value my dental assistants
There you go.
and I pay them well." I'm like, "Thank goodness. I'm glad to hear that because
Yeah.
it is true, even though it's not about the money. I don't recommend that patient to have that crown unless they need that crown. You know what I mean? Like people say all the time, "Oh, I don't want to sell anything." Well, it's not selling. If
No,
they need it, they need it. Like
absolutely.
if people need treatment, they need treatment. That's why they walked in the door in the first place. They know they have a problem. Otherwise, they keep circling the parking lot. Nobody wants to pay for that.
And I will tell you, and you've seen it, I've seen it, how that patient trust in the dental assistant is
Oh,
such a valuable part of them actually accepting the treatment
it
as
is
well.
because you know what happens? The doctor leaves the room and they said, "What would you do?
There you go.
What
Bingo.
would you do? What is your thought?" I'm like, "Dude, let me show you on this x-ray why you have what's going on here, right?" I'm gonna tell you, I am so this is a strong way to say this, but I'm so in love with AI right now. And the reason I like AI, it's not diagnosing or anything because I can look on that x-ray without the AI and see that that crown has got recurrent decay, right? But my patient can't. And so when you use the AI with annotations, and it puts that box around that decay, that red box indicating that there is a problem here, man, you do not need a dental degree to see that something's going on,
And,
right?
but you need confidence in yourself to be able to say, "Look at this. This is what we're talking about as well."
Absolutely, and I'm telling you, unless they're brand new into this profession, I don't know a dental assistant in my circle that
Mhm.
cannot spot a decay at 50 yards, and then at 25 yards, they can tell you how to fix it. You know what I mean? I mean, because we're smart, we're not gonna tell I'm not gonna diagnose that, I'm not doing that, that's not what I'm saying. But when I'm talking to the patient and I'm preheating them, this is the other thing about case acceptance, is you have to know what your doctor's gonna say, right? This is so not what we're gonna talk about today, but it is about the bottom line.
It is.
It is about the bottom line. But when you can see that and you know that my doctor 99% of the time is gonna recommend this treatment when I see this circumstance, right? And then
Yep.
I'm talking to the patients, I'm preheating them. I'm asking them, like, "Does this bother you? Or do you notice any sensitivity? Do you notice food packing in that big old wide open spot you can floss with a straw?" You know what I mean? Like, "Do you notice these things?" I'm planting a little seed. I'm planting a little seed, and then when the doctor comes in, he says, "Hey, Cherie tells me that you were noticed at this," right? So you notice these things, you ask questions and stuff. All of that stuff goes to case acceptance, which goes to the bottom line. Like, that's the bottom that we are in a healthcare, we are in a position to help patients live their best lives, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys if anybody ever had a toothache, that's not something you wanna repeat. It
No,
is
too
not, it
green.
is not. A toothache is like one of the worst things that could wreck your day, right? You don't want anybody to have to experience that. But it's also we're running a business. This is how we pay our mortgages. This is how we pay daycare for our children. This is how we buy shoes and Halloween costumes and all the candy we're gonna give away at Halloween, you know what I mean? This is how we run it, and so being able to take all of these clinical things that I'm doing, I'm recommending my doctor's recommending, I guess I should say. My doctor's recommending this treatment and helping the patient to live their best life.
Sheree Busby's dropping a lot of truth today, guys.
I'm
I hate to tell
sorry.
you. No, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm just sitting there
You
going,
told me let's go down a rabbit hole. I'm like,
and you know
"Okay."
what? We did. No, I love it, but you said a minute ago, and I cannot agree with you more. This is all under how do you impact the bottom line of the practice? And so I'm so glad
Absolutely.
we're talking about this today, and I'm glad you're gonna be talking about this in Chicago because you're gonna be dropping more truth whenever we get to the Windy City in February, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, you guys, make sure your plane reservations are later so you don't have to leave early
Yep.
because I'm sorry, I get so passionate about these things that I know, and just like the doctor from Illinois who told me, "My dental assistant is so valuable." Nobody's gonna come up to you and say, "Golly gee, you're doing such a great job today, Cherie. I just wanna give you more money." They're not gonna do that. That's not how the world works in any profession, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to prove your worth, and I don't care if you are working at McDonald's or Starbucks, the dental office down the street or the one next door, it doesn't matter what your profession. Merit or raises happen on merit, bonuses and all those kind of things. In order for that to happen, you have to help protect the bottom line. We gotta have money to spend money. You got
That
to. This is a business.
Yeah. And, I will tell you, dental economics, where I used to be the managing editor, is around simply because dentists don't have the business knowledge that they should coming out of dental school. And that
Absolutely.
and so it's up to everybody in the business to remind each other it's a business.
It's a
I think that's a
business.
really important thing.
It really
Absolutely.
is, and it's so sad. They come out dental school come out of dental school, they have all this clinical knowledge, but they're crappy business people. They have no idea. They have spent all their time, and I'm telling you, half of them are like they can't even do their own checkbook. Nobody does a checkbook anymore anyway, but you know what I mean, like,
A lot of
they
a lot of dental say, "What? What is that?"
like,
So,
what's a checkbook? Who knew? What's a register? I don't know. This is so you can know how old I am. But they can't run their business. They are
no.
running their patients. They're caring for their patients and they're depending on me. They're depending on me as a dental assistant to say, okay, I just spent $8,000 on an autoclave. and I'm gonna entrust this piece of equipment that you are going to help me care for this piece of equipment. Right? They're entrusting us to do that. And I think that when we do that and then we go with records, like talking about the autoclave, there should be like a monthly checkoff sheet that said, you did it. Like you checked it. And then if something happens, they'll come to me and say, Sherrie, I thought you said you cleared the autoclave and now it's broken. What's going on with that? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's go investigate and see what we can do. Right. But I
Yep.
think that they're entrusting us to take care of those things. They're entrusting us to back to my supplies topic, which is really what this is going to be about. They're entrusting us to know how much supplies to order, when to order it, how to take care of those supplies, how to use it when it's in the practice, and then how to restock it. You know what I mean? Like they're entrusting us because they have no earthly idea. They're entrusting the dental assistant for infection control. We are the ones that have the least experience in the whole practice, and now you're giving me this big job to take care of infection control for the whole entire world here. You know what I mean? And so I think that there's so much trust that's placed in the dental assistant. And I think a lot of it could be an unconscious thing on the doctor's side. You know what I mean? They just take it for granted, if you will. So by being able to document the things that you do, like keep track of, man, if you've got a patient that you worked in those 3 crowns and 2 root canals and a clear aligner therapy today, keep track of those things. And then when it's time for bonuses, you can go and say, hey, here's what I've done. Here's how I contributed to the bottom line of this practice.
Yep.
Here's the things that I've done. And then the black and white speaks louder than anything. Documentation.
The Chicago Midwinter Meeting. It's one of the biggest meetings in the dental industry every year, and this year is going to be extra special because I'm going to be talking to dental assistants at the meeting, and I can't wait to be a part of it. So dental assistants and dental team members, join me Friday, February 20th, as we talk about harnessing the powers and personalities in the dental practice. Why can't we all just get along? We're going to talk about that. And then Saturday, February 21st, it's going to be extra special because dental assistants, this one's just for you as we talk about battling and beating the demons of dental assisting. So join me at the 2026 Chicago Midwinter Meeting. I can't wait to see you in the Windy City.
Documentation. Hey, we've gone down a lot of different paths today, which I love, but again, all under the same umbrella, which is
Mhm.
how do you impact the bottom line of the practice? And again, as Sherrie and I both said, there's a lot of dentists that don't know the answer to that question.
They
So
don't.
it's up to a lot of us, a lot of you, to educate them on that.
Mhm.
So, Sherrie, again, let me highlight before I turn back to Sherrie for just a second here. Saturday, February 21st, in the great city of Chicago at Chicago Midwinter. We're going to be talking. It's a full day dental assisting track. You can go to Chicago Midwinter's website, look it up. We're going to have it in the show notes. So you can just click and find out where you can join us in the Windy City for what's going to be a great time of dental assisting education. But Sherrie, before then, if somebody wants to get a hold of you or ask you a question or just pick your brain, how do they do that?
Oh my goodness. So I do have an Instagram account, although I'm not very active on there. But when Kevin sends me the recording of this, I will post that. But
Yep.
it's Dental Assistant Connection is how to get to me. I'm on Facebook, Sherrie Markham Busby. You can send me a Facebook link. You can email me, sherrie.busby@yahoo.com. I love email. I love talking to people every day. I'm not going to put my phone number out here because of the
Yeah.
spam, but everything else, please reach out. I'm here to help. Kevin's got my info. I really want to help. I really feel like this point in my career, I still have so much left to give, and I just want to give that to help others.
Well, and absolutely, every bit of that's gonna be in the show notes. I mean,
Mhm.
one-stop shop for everything that we've talked about today, and I also wanna encourage you, speaking of Chicago, last Chicago Midwinter, Sherrie and I did some talk on dental unit water lines that was part of a Dental Assistant Nation podcast, so we're gonna put that in the show notes so you can catch back up on that as well. Sherrie, I can't wait to see you there, and I
I
know it's gonna
know,
be
I'm
a great day of learning.
excited.
Be
I'm so
fun.
excited for our day that we're gonna have. Like I said earlier, you get 1 ticket and 5 speakers. How cool is that? All these
It's gonna be a
brainiacs
blast.
in one room. It's gonna be a blast.
It is gonna be a good time, and it's all focused on the dental assistant, which is
It
gonna be
is.
amazing. I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for all your wisdom today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for listening to this episode of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Hey, This is an important topic. This is one that gets talked about way too much, and there are too few answers to the question of how does the dental assistant impact the bottom line of the practice? Well, we just talked about it today. So share this episode with other dental assistants who maybe need that reminder of how they do great things every day. Till next time, it's Kevin Harry, founder of Dental Assistant Nation, signing off, and as always, wishing you nothing but success ahead.